Hello, everyone. Welcome to Take Back My Brain. I'm your host, Laurie Hammer, and today I have with me Mike Murphy, and I'm very, very excited because he's an author, an entrepreneur, and an author. He has also started the foundation loveformargot.com, and he is the owner and founder of Mountains for Hope, and he's written this amazing book, The Creation Frequency. And so I can't wait to dive into all these things today with you, Mike. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Laurie.
Awesome. So I would love to know, how did you end up with Mountains of Hope and writing this amazing book, Creation Frequency?
Okay, well, the creation frequency came from someone that taught me this process, right? So long story short, I grew up in an alcoholic home and at 14, I ran away and I became a habitual runaway juvenile delinquent, have the equivalent of an 8th grade education. And then I found someone dumb enough to marry me at age 21. At age 23, we had our first child. And 2 months later, I walked out on both of them because I'm a runaway. So when things are tough, I leave. Week later, I call up and say, okay, I'm ready to come home. She said, thanks, but no thanks. So we ended up getting divorced. And I couldn't stay off drugs or alcohol. The pain of letting them down, my family, losing my daughter and all that was really eating at me. So I would go like 3 weeks, okay, and then I'd go on a bender for a week. So I'm in a 12-step program. And a buddy says, I've never met anybody as screwed up as you, but I might know somebody that can help. So he introduced me to a man named Doug Fitzgerald, which I didn't know anything at the time. I'm a novice at all this. I'm just a partier. And he says to me, Mike, you come here 1 hour a week for 7 weeks, you'll get everything you want in life. I said, okay. And by the way, it's $50 and I didn't have 50 cents. So I actually wrote him a bad check for the first session. And so anyways, he said, what do you want most in your life? I said, I want my wife and my daughter back. He said, okay, we're going to write it as if an intention as if it already exists, because there's no difference between imagination and reality. So I'm sitting at his kitchen table, I start writing, Lisa and I are so happily married. Our daughter, Michelle, thrives in this marriage. And, I knew it was all BS. I knew she hated my guts. I knew I really did her wrong. But I just felt a little bit of hope. And so I kept writing. Next week, what do you want? I want to make 10,000 a month. What do you want next? I want to own my own business. What do you want next? I want to own my own house. What do you want next? I want to run a marathon. And he said, the sixth one has to be contribution. You have to give back. So I said, well, my dad was a troubled youth. I'm a troubled youth. So let's create a boys' home, something like that. But the magic came on the 7th week. And he brought out a boom box. And for you youngsters out here, that's what we used to listen to.
I had those.
And he put in a cassette tape of theta brainwave music. Then he handed me a relaxation script. And he says, well, I'm playing the music. And he handed me a tape recorder with a microphone. He says, well, I'm playing the music. I want you to record and read this relaxation script and read your 6 intentions, and we'll record it. And so we do that. So now I am sitting there $350 poor with a cassette tape with 6 intentions on it. But he said, listen, you have to listen to it every morning and every night right before you go to bed. I didn't know why, but I know now, because we're coming out of delta into theta, or we're going from beta to alpha to theta, right? So when we're in theta, that's the same state we were in the womb and the same state we were until age 7 or 8. So we're in a self-hypnotic trance. That's how we learn everything. We're a sponge. Okay, we don't have any judgments. We don't have any opinions. We just absorb all the, so we can be programmed. Somebody said, give me your child until age 8. A priest said this, give me your child till age 8, they'll never leave the church, because that's how powerful that early programming is. I'm still undoing childhood programming, right? So long story short, in four months, I owned my own restaurant. I had no credit but bad credit. I had no money, and I manifest my own restaurant. 2 years later, she calls me up, asks me on a date, and we get remarried, and we have 3 more kids.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was making millions of dollars, living in a multi-million-dollar home, and I was the last person on earth to ever get divorced. My friends are getting divorced. I said, never going to happen to me. I had so much pain those 4 years when we were divorced that I was never going to do that again. But I own a Chevrolet dealership, and a young lady walks in to sell me Hispanic television advertising. And the moment we met, our eyes connected, I felt something I never felt before. And we didn't discuss it for a while, but for 7 months, we worked together, and I was falling in love with her and she was falling in love with me. And so we ended up having an affair. And because we didn't want to hurt our spouses, even though we did. We lied to them and said, hey, we're just going to separate. But we should have said, met someone else, fell in love, sorry, but kids, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. I didn't do that. So about 4 months after this, her husband finds out, all hell breaks loose. 3 months after that, my wife finds out, all hell breaks loose. And a month after that, I find a stage 3 golf ball sized tumor in her breast.
Wow.
So I was in a pickle. Here was this family that I adored, and here was this woman. You know, Plato taught that we're one soul cut in half, and we spend many lifetimes looking for the other half. He called that a twin flame. And I believe that this woman was my twin flame. And so, long story short, we ended up getting married. And she passed away in 2011 at the age of 38 after a 9-year battle with breast cancer. After that, I started a nonprofit foundation giving financial grants to women below the poverty line while they were battling cancer. And what I saw, I probably sat, it was a 5-month grant. I give them $1,000 a month for 5 months to help them go through treatment. And after 4 years of that, and 150 women, it just didn't work. They get sicker and sicker dying. It was just never going to work. It was a
Right.
bad idea that I came up with. So that's why I built this place called Mountains of Hope. A lot of those women wanted to go natural treatment,
Yeah.
but insurance won't pay for that, right?
Right.
So that's why I've created this amazing, beautiful place called Mountains of Hope, which I've manifested using the creation frequency, but it's really my passion. And it's down here in Medellin, Colombia, a 3-hour flight from Miami. And what's cool about it is we're close to the equator. So we have this amazing weather. We're 7,000 feet in the mountains, but every day it's 55 to 75 degrees. So it's just, and that nature is so healing, and we're just surrounded by it. So I love this place.
No kidding. Like I told you before we started, I said, I've been kind of stalking the website. I'm like, I need to go there. It just looks like where I need to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful.
So what type of people do you see down there at the retreat?
Like recently we had a woman that had beaten breast cancer, but she wanted to come and reboot. So we get women like that want to, really improve the quality of their health.
Yeah.
A lot of people just want to do a reboot, come for a week. And then,
Yeah.
we have so much biohacking stuff. We have so many things that are good for your health. A lot of people want to come and do plant medicine ceremonies, so we facilitate that. Anybody that wants to feel better or is dealing with an illness, it comes here.
That's amazing. And do you incorporate the creation frequency
Yes.
method into
So,
all of that?
yeah, so if they come for a 1-week wellness program, we give them my online course, The Creation Frequency. I teach them that. I have an app as well, Creation Frequency app, where they can write their intentions, download it. But we have a walking meditation. We have a hiking path around the 20 acres, 1.2-mile walk, 250 feet of altitude change. So there's so many things that we can do, but for sure we incorporate the power of intentions. Here's the thing, I didn't know it at the time, but one, I'm reprogramming my cells in my body for what I want. We have a reticular activating system that really keeps us on focus. So I got these 6 intentions. They're always in my mind, right? But more importantly, what I understand now is those intentions, especially the sound, the power of sound. God said, the Bible says God spoke this world into existence. He said, let there be light. So the power of sound is immense, right? And so when I'm listening to my intentions, the intention goes into the field of infinite possibilities, which the Chinese call chi, the Indians call prana, Nicholas Tesla called it plasma. The Bible calls it ether. But this, we live in 1% of all the electromagnetic spectrum, that we live in the field of light, right? But there's all kinds of stuff going on right here. Dogs can see it, dogs can hear it, we just can't. And so I'm putting these intentions into the field, and then the magnet is my heart. So the more love and compassion and joy and gratitude I can attach to these intentions, the faster they come back to me. So that's why the creation frequency works so well.
Right. I know some people, as I've grown over the years as well, like, I don't know if you can really think or speak things into existence. I would go through those thought processes just because I was afraid that it was something like woohooey. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
But, over the years, and I still think I'm unwinding some of that, but, the Bible's very clear about, as a man thinks, so is he. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So many.
Asking you shall receive.
Exactly. And I don't think we understand the magnitude of that. Could you expand on that for me?
Yeah, so this is the way everything works. If I want a watermelon, I take a watermelon seed and I plant it into the ground. I want an oak tree, I plant an acorn. This is how nature works. This is how we work. There's nothing in your physical existence right now that didn't first start as a thought and a desire. Okay, there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing. Everything comes into your physical reality, starts as a thought and desire, and you manifest it. Everybody's a manifester. They
Right,
just don't realize it, or they say, I tried it and it didn't work. They tried it for
right.
5 days. Okay. It takes years to get an oak tree from an acorn. It takes months to get a watermelon from a watermelon seed. So we have to be patient, but we live in a microwave society. We want everything now. Now we have DoorDash. We don't even have to get up and go to the microwave. They're just bringing the food to us. So that's part of the problem, right? But like you said, the Bible spells it out clearly, and it's just the way everything works.
Yeah, yeah. And I know, listen to so many, like I've had a lot of words spoken over me, on prophecy and those types of things. And it's always so spot on to like what I have already been thinking. And that always, I don't know why I say it amazes me because, God is so big and he knows what I'm thinking, but just that the other person would pick up on that frequency because every thought's a frequency. And that, I don't know. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm not articulating it very well.
There's no doubt. There's
Yeah,
mind readers for sure. There's remote viewers that can see things, thousands of miles away.
right,
We just get stuck in this matrix and we get clogged down with bad food and bad thoughts and
right.
bad energy, and we lose who we really are.
Right. And I'm all about, balancing the brain first. So I use amino acid therapy to balance the brain because, my thought process is if we fix the brain first, we balance the brain first, then people can be more in tune to, these creation frequencies and their intentions
Right.
and, manifest healing in their own bodies because our bodies are created to heal themselves. If we just give them the right frequencies, the right nutrition, the right everything that they need. And so I love the work that you're doing. Um, could you talk a little bit about the different steps that are in the creation frequency book?
Sure, sure. But let me add to something you just
Okay,
said there, because we have to differentiate the brain from the mind. Okay.
okay,
Because I
good.
believe
Yeah.
there's only one mind and we're all attached to it, right? And that's where these
Yeah.
thoughts, where do these crazy thoughts come from, right? So I always tell people, listen, we have to gently move out of this insane asylum and back into it. Okay.
Yeah.
From here, I can lie, cheat, steal, manipulate. From here, I can't. This is my essence. We are eternal, timeless consciousness. We can never die. And so when we live from here, now I can use this supercomputer to create whatever I want. Okay. So some of the steps is you got to sit down with a piece of paper and say, hey, first of all, you got to break your life into 6 or 8 areas. Okay. Relationships, career, finances, whatever. Right. So there's, in my book, I talk about 6. There's other books that talk about 8, contribution being a big part of that. So you break your life into that. So let's say relationship. Right. And so I say, okay, what do I want in a partner? Okay, I want this color hair, this color skin, this kind of education, these kind of hobbies, and we get as specific as possible. Okay, and then we write it out what that would feel like as if it already exists. And feeling is so important. What would it feel like to have this partner?
Mhm.
Okay, so I
Mhm.
write attention like this. I love the fact that Tom is my partner. I love how he treats me, and I love how I love him so much. Every day gets better. I can't wait to live the rest of my life with him. I just love this man with everything I have. Tom, he doesn't even exist in the physical reality, but he does exist in the field of infinite possibilities. Now, I might write down that she might have written down that she wants a blonde hair guy with this kind of thing, but then you have to let go and be open to anything because you're co-creating what you desire with the creator of all that I
Right.
call God. So you have to be specific in what you want and then open to anything. And then be as consistent as possible with listening to these intentions every morning, every night, and don't be afraid to change them. Okay. You don't
Mhm.
have to lock them in this. Be very, very flexible with this. Like I'm going to tell you something. I've been manifesting this place. I purchased it in 2016. I've done this and I've done that and I've done this and I've done that. And it keeps evolving, right? Because I'm open to what is best. I'm a car dealer. What do I know about a wellness resort? Right? Okay.
Right.
So but I go with the flow. There's some great books called, there's one of my favorite books called The Surrender Experience. and he just lets go and surrenders. And that's how I like to live my life. I like to envision that I'm jumping into the river of life, and I'm not fighting it. I'm letting it take me where it wants me to go. I have intentions that I want to create, but I'm very,
Right.
very flexible on the final outcome.
I love that. That's so good. All right. What else?
Well, then dig deep. Okay, go really, really deep into this, right? And see how it feels, and sleep on it for a while. Okay, this is intention. How does that feel for me? Sometimes it's scary. Okay, I hate my job. I want to change. I want to do this. Okay, and so then you have to be fearless and say, okay, I'm going to step out in faith. I've done my due diligence. I've done my homework. I'm going to have to cut this out of my life, cut this out of my life, cut this out of my life. But I'm going to be doing something that's going to fill me with so much joy and purpose. And
Right.
so I think that's super important, that we're not afraid to take chances. You know, whether some people stay in lousy relationships where they're even abused forever, right? I
Right.
have a friend like that right now. And just, you know, because she's afraid. And so we have to be willing to take a leap of faith and take that step and go with it. Trust
Right.
ourselves.
Are there, what do I say? We're not creating, these intentions, these like next powerful life steps. What are we actually doing then? Are we always creating something?
Well, let me ask you this. Is there something in your life that you'd like to manifest?
Yes.
Give me an example.
I would like 1,000 new clients in my new group program.
I love how my business is overflowing with new clients. I love that how every day when I finally get up and I do my morning routine, I go to my computer, there's more clients that want to work with me. And more importantly, I love the impact I'm having on their lives. I love how they love me and I love them with everything I have, and they're resonating to this love. And more importantly, their life is changing and their life is improving. Write that, record that, listen to that, put it into the field and see what happens.
That's amazing. That makes me want to cry when you were just talking about that. Like, I've kind of wanted to cry since we got on, and I'm not really sure why, Mike. I don't know. I've been reading your book and then talking to you, and like, I just feel a lot of things stirring inside of me. So I don't know
That's
if I'm
good.
asking the best questions at the moment.
That's okay.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more about your retreat and what that looks like if
Yeah.
people come there?
Yeah, I'd love to. And I love yours, Take Back My Brain.
Thank you.
I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but the world is a little haywire right now.
It's a
Okay.
little haywire. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And it's because people a little haywire. I'm 67 years old. I grew up in America. Okay. It's not the same America I grew up in. So, and the
Nope.
world is haywire. There's 22 wars that we're in right now. So this stuff has to stop. And I believe that it will. I believe that we're going from a masculine energy to a feminine energy. And this is a cycle. History repeats itself. So we're in this cycle, and it started December 21st, 2012, when the Mayan calendar ended. And that's when this started. Well, the masculine wants to hold on for the power, the control, the penetration. And the feminine energy is kind, nurturing, loving. That's what's happening right now. And it's probably going to get a little uglier before it gets better. But I do think we're headed in the right direction. So I love your Take Back My Brain. Because first of all, a lot of people in America, they have brain fog, right?
You do
Their
a lot of
gut,
it.
their gut's a mess. The microbiome's a mess. Why? Because we spray glyphosate, we spray poison on every crop before we harvest it, right? And
Right.
it's not real food to begin with. It's GMO seeds that grow wheat, and then we cover it with glyphosate. And as it's dying from the glyphosate, it yields a 30% bigger crop. So they're making a lot of money, but
Yep.
our guts are ruined. And so that's number one. So to get rid of brain fog, the other thing we do here is we do brain mapping. So we
Oh,
put like
cool.
22 electrodes on your head, and then we
Mhm.
get a brain map of everything. And now we can diagnose you what's the best neurofeedback for you. I'm doing neurofeedback for myself right now because my brain's getting a little foggy, right? So what else do we do? I mean, we do stem cells, and we have an alliance with the National University of Columbia here, where stem cells, which are great for healing, exosomes, which are a byproduct of stem cells, great for healing. But we also do things like colonics. And then we have a lot of biohacking stuff, from red light therapy to salt therapy, to PEMF therapy. We have a couple doctors on staff. We go over the nutrition of each of our guests. Then we have a gymnasium. We have a walking meditative labyrinth. I imported the template from France.
Wow.
It started in 12th century from the Chartres Cathedral, and there's a frequency to it. And so the meditation, as you walk into the middle of it, probably takes about 15 minutes. And it's very important that they do it barefoot because we need to ground the Mother Earth. Because
Right.
the problem is a lot of the health issues today are because we wear rubber shoes. We don't wear leather anymore. So we're never getting connected to Mother Earth. Well, Mother Earth is giving off these negative electrons, which because of all this stuff and all this blue light,
Right.
most people are sick because of too much blue light, which is terrible for our health. So what else do we do? And we grow over 50 fruits and vegetables here.
Wow.
We're a 5-star wellness resort. I bought this in 2016. It was a really nice place. We remodeled. We just made it 5-star in every experience. We have a gymnasium. What I do every morning, we have a sauna that we imported from Finland. It holds about 8 people. It goes up to 160 degrees. So I sit in that for 15 minutes. I either do breath work or I meditate. And then I get out of there and I go jump in our 45-degree cold water plunge for 5 minutes. And I do that 3 times. I'm telling you, I'm addicted to it. It's one of the
Right.
good, right? And if the water's not cold enough, we have another ice bath that's 38 degrees. And so when we have a fire pit that people hang around, and we have 2 pickleball courts, we have a golf track, man, where you can play hundreds of golf courses. We have a putting green. So it's a lot of fun. We do, and then the ceremonies. We do a cacao ceremony. We do a sweat lodge ceremony. We do an ayahuasca ceremony. Whatever people need for their healing, whatever is going on with them, that's what we provide. We're very flexible with all of that stuff.
I love that. Each of those things has its own frequency. Like it like gives
Yeah.
off whether it's golf or whether it's walking or whether it's, sweating in a lodge. I don't think people really understand that everything is frequency.
Everything is frequency. Nikola Tesla said it best. If you want to understand the universe, you have to understand energy, vibration, and frequency.
Mhm.
And the frequency of light is so important. We're not getting enough red light. Okay. Some people don't ever get light. Okay. They're inside all day long and they're getting this terrible blue light off their computer or their iPad or their iPhone, and they're indoors. It's terrible for your health. We're designed to be outside with as little clothes as possible, barefoot, getting the sun. Okay. And nature doesn't make mistakes.
Right.
Okay. Animals don't get skin cancer.
Nope.
Okay. So, but we lather ourselves with all these chemicals, okay, and then we get all this cancer. So we just got to start using our common sense with some of this stuff. But we get so heavily brainwashed. Listen, I was as brainwashed as anybody, so I understand it. But I just saw, first of all, 9 years with my wife going through cancer was an eye opener. On December 1st, 2010, they said to her, unfortunately, it spread to your brain. If you do nothing, you have 6 weeks to live. If you treat it, you have 6 months to live. I actually wrote a book about those 6 months with flashbacks into our love story. But here was this amazing young woman that she loved life more than anybody I've ever met. Every day she would go through hell, living hell, 2 brain surgeries, get her lungs drained. She would do anything to live another day, but every night she prepared to take that last breath. And so when that time came, you'll never meet anybody who was prepared as her to leave her
Wow.
body and go home. It
Mhm.
was so profound. It was a blessing for me to be able to witness that. So I thank her every day for that.
Wow. Wow. She sounds like an amazing woman.
She was, still is,
Still is.
just not in
Yes.
body, just not in the
Right.
body.
You'll see her again. Yeah.
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 Awesome. Anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, well, I talked about moving from the head to the heart. That's number 1. Number 2, realize that you're a powerful creator. The problem is the world wants to make us victims. Okay. When
Yeah.
we're a victim, we can't fix anything, right? So we blame everybody. I'm sick because of that. I'm broke because of that. Blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. We're either all victims or none of us are victims. So pick your poison. The truth is, we're powerful creators. I just spent 5 days a few months ago with this amazing guy named Daniel Brinkley. In 1975, he was struck by lightning. He was clinically dead for 28 minutes. He went up into heaven, 13 light beings, told him what the world was going to be like for the coming till now. And the last battle for humanity would be over healthcare, viruses, vaccines, and stuff like that, right? He's since died 3 other times, and they keep teaching him. And he can
Wow.
read minds. But he's an amazing set. And here's what he says: we're mighty, powerful spiritual beings with dignity, direction, and purpose, and we can never die. And that's exactly what I believe. And so that's the biggest thing for everybody. Listen, quit thinking negatively, get out of your way. And if you are depressed, a lot of people are depressed right now. And one of the easiest ways out of depression is to do something for someone else anonymously every day. And you'll
Totally.
break your ego and your depression will go away. So that's what I have to say.
I believe all of that, Mike. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your wisdom and for sharing that with my audience. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Roy.
Okay, God bless.